same, but you won't take blame, even when you are blowing up. Oh my, you're my broken love. Nobody's gonna save, and oh my, you're my broken love. So come on, let me show you how.
딱히 밀지 않아서 뭐 아직까지 그림 좋죠?
그렇죠.
공간기! 공간기!
공간기. 오! 끊었습니다.
여기서 이제 추가로 공간기를 찍고 공격 타이밍을 잡아야 되는데 그 전진은 이쪽자가 살아가야 됩니다.
네. 그나마 이제 저글링이 더 이상 없다면 퇴로를 확보할 수 있긴 하지만 저글링 추격하에서 이병의 전멸함이 감이 없거든요.
저글링이 이걸 잡아먹으면 공간기를 대동만
지제 리로 이동력 김대엽 선수의 타이밍을 빼앗고 승을 따냈습니다.
그리고 전투방도 안 됐거든요. 오히려 내려가지 않아서
네, 내려와서 이제 밀어버릴 생각. 오.
네, 해병 싸움은 훨씬 더 좋으니까 이거 싸울만 하니까 붙어본 겁니다. 놓쳤어요 이 움직임을.
자 들어가서 여기서 위치 잡아버리고
꽤 많거든요.
낼수 있는 데미지 준출 수 있는 상황입니다. 해병 다수가
이게 탱크가
단호가 지제 얼라이브 한희석 선수 드러낸 후한 선수 공격을 막아내면서 역시 타이밍 경기 끝내버렸습니다.
이 타이밍을 막아야 되거든요. 이 타이밍을 막는다면 또 새로운 기록이 나오겠죠.
반가마기 강의 매트릭스 하나 걸어줬습니다.
자, 조금만 더 전투하면
네.
황혜석 선수 좋은 자리
자,
가져옵니다.
반가마기 전차 모두 잃었어요. 전차. 지게로
지게로 나는 빨간 간다.
트리플 GSL 황규석 선수가 2011년 이후에 8년 만에 8강에 진출합니다.
이게 문제가 뭐냐면
이전순
이게 만약 저가 테란의 본진을 날렸다 치더라도
와.
테란이 이거 불 끄자마자 차원대학으로 날아가서 저게 본진 장악하면 그냥 끝나요 저그가. 이거죠. 막았다 제가 들면 바로 역곡이거든요.
최신 기술.
와, 뜻한 대장을 경기 시작부터 오, 정명훈 입장에서 너무나도 기분 좋은 자신이 준비했던 판 그대로
참 완전 잘 찼네요.
이병헌 선수도 내내 이제 올인 이런 걸 잘 안 하다 보니까 자꾸 당하는 그런 게 상황을 뒤집어 보기 위한 좋은 스윙인 건 맞는데
네. 지제. 자 4전선으로 경기 끝났습니다. 2사 경기 오늘 준비해온 대로 완벽한 경기를 보여주면서 정명훈 선수가 압승을 거뒀어요.
근데 이경의 불멸자가 사거리를 바탕으로 화력
네.
뽑아내고 있어요.
그렇죠. 집정관 하나가 지금 버텨주고 있고
이거 막히는 그림이거든요.
네, 추가 변력이 나오곤 있습니다.만 여기 뚫어내지 못하고 있습니다.
네.
돌진광전사랑 집정관의 숫자가 차이가 나죠 확실히.
그렇죠. 공간기까지 오고 있습니다. 아케드가는 집정관 차이 너무 나는데요.
네. 하수기 하나도 변수 주지 못했죠.
밀려요 공격 병력.
막기 어렵겠는데요.
네. 자 여기는 아케이드까지 가능하고 하고 3개씩 불멸자.
네. 반대로 김준호 선수.
있어요. 지제 풀세트 접전 끝에 현재로 이득을 많이 보고 시작하는 김준호 선수 4강 진출. 순간 집중으로 깹니까
버티고 있어요. 버티고 있어요.
갔을 때 몇 개는 바로 절반 폭풍은
프로토스가 지금 업그레이드를 하다가 말아서 시간이 더 필요한데 이렇게 일본 경기가 잃게 되면 그냥 고병 선수를 그대로 쭉 한번 들어갈 만하거든요.
싸우나요.
물론 도루는 뒤에 있긴 하지만 차원 도약이 없고 전순
야, 그래도 이건
대함대가 보였어요. 네.
거기다 방해 매트릭스 폭풍함이 넣어줬고요.
자, 벌어지고 있거든요. 전순이 모함을
언더가 아래
대기만 한다.
앞차원 나왔어요.
네, 지지 만들어 왔다.
인구수 차이 그대로 유지가 되고 있습니다.
아직 경기는 끝나지 않았다.
그렇죠.
이제부터 시작이다.
지금까지 상황 내가 모든 세트 다 좋았었던 적이 있다는 거죠.
네, 전순으로 찍어 누르고 있습니다. 발행 무너졌습니다.
깨져 있고
이기면 끝나는 거예요.
여기서 야마토포로 마무리 나오겠는데
멀리도 가지 못할 것이다.
야마토.
네,
지제. 할 수 있는 네 번째 세트 대결. 고병재가 드디어 승을 따냈습니다.
예상 못해야 되는데 이게
봤어요?
테란 입장에서도 이거 아니면 할 게 없어요 지금.
그렇죠. 이걸로 탐사정 6-7개 잡아줘야 되거든요.
하나 치네요. 하나 들고 잡아요.
해병 23개 폭풍 두 방이면 싹 놓거든요.
네, 들어갑니다.
해병이
네, 조목이 먹죠. 두 방.
한 번 더.
하나 더.
방해 매트릭스 맞아서 거기서 못 내리고 있기는 한데
버텨냅니까? 두 방 들어간 상황 왼쪽으로
그래도-
좀 들어가고 있습니다.
그래도
밀어버려요.
워낙 차이가 많이 나고 이건 조성주가 버텨도 불리한데
네.
버틸 힘이 없죠.
타이밍 기가 막혔지.
활약이 어느 정도 되기 때문에
와, 근데
전사로 폭풍한 원샷 원클 끌어내면서 쐐기 박나요.
폭풍만 막으려면 사이클론 말고 없었어요. 근데 그
그렇죠.
팀을 무기력하게 만들고 있는 겁니다.
들어간 시나미가 들어가면서 여기 하나 두드리고 있습니다.
영도만이 할 수 있는 그 종족기를 그제 꺼내 든 거죠.
그렇죠. 종족기 꺼내서
아니
해남 무너뜨리고 있습니다.
지금 폭풍함도 못 막을 것 같은데 관문 연습은 어떻게 났습니까?
전사로 바깥 터졌어요. 지제
절대 돌 때 아니에요. 해방선 빨리 와야 돼. 해방선 소고기보다 하고 있어도 뚫릴 것 같은데.
위로
막았어. 이거 막았어요.
위로 더 입구 열렸고 아래 이방은
이거.
떨어지거든요.
폭풍 계속 뚫고 있습니다.
폭풍 다 맞고 2타 들어갑니다. 위로 3타
다리를.
폭풍
진짜.
고명재를 잡고 드디어 김도우 선수가 이번 시즌 GSL 슈퍼토너먼트 우승을 차지합니다.
If it works, but if it
This looks like something our two-time world champion SOS would try out. So, oh my God,
crazy.
I have never seen this before.
no, nobody has.
How many DTs is he going to make?
There goes the lair.
Oh, going after the layer right now. Right-clicking with so many Dark Templars, and look at this, takes it down in a matter of seconds.
I cannot believe what we're watching. He's going to recall all of these attempts as well.
Now the attack comes in. Classic going for the kill right now with a gigantic army.
Yeah, no time to waste. It's still very scary though. That's a lot of Ravagers, and Rogue's micro is good. I think Rogue is doing this well so far. Rogue wants to keep on running, and Classic just wants to force the fight.
Oh, Rogue has almost nothing left at this point. The bios go down. A good dodge here from Classic as he walks forward, trying to pin these units up against the wall. Rogue running into his natural, almost nothing left over.
All of these Roaches and Ravagers are clumped up. The Archons are getting the best shots off ever. Classic is doing it. What a game, what a series. Wow.
Oh, GG! And that is it. Classic, the win toss.
아프리카 TV 브레이크업 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL 시즌 1 코드 S 쇼다운.
What is up? We are here in the Final Four, day one of the GSL Code S, and what a match we've got for us tonight, PartinG versus TY.
This is an awesome match. These guys are, well, it's very strange, right? Because we were actually going over them before the match. They're the same age. They've both been to 2 finals and got 2nd place.
Right.
They actually have a decent amount. You know, they were both StarCraft 1 pros, all these things. They have a decent amount in common, but, like, you'd never actually think that thinking about them. TY is, like, this really well thought out, amazing Terran player, kind of like I always call him the smartest player in the game.
Yeah.
Then you got PartinG, who basically screams into his microphone while he's streaming, cheeses everybody out, cannon rushes, streams himself bashing nerds on the North American server, and here he is in the round of 4 after quitting StarCraft for 3 years after being the world champion.
It's a good versus evil match,
It's
as
a
we were
good versus
talking
evil
before
match.
we went live.
It's so true.
But I don't really know who to root for when we go into this.
I
I
know.
mean, talk about 2 different players, different personalities, different play styles, and look, we knew that either of these guys could get to the Final Four, but to see them both here now, all of our top players from each race have been eliminated. This is a crazy season for GSL.
No, I know. It's amazing. And it's so funny because it's like they couldn't be more different, but they couldn't be more the same at the same time. This is like it is good versus evil. It's tasteless versus artosis.
That's
you know,
right.
it's everything about it. It's just like opposites attract, my man.
Well, I'll tell you what, this Final Four is really exciting.
Yeah.
Although all these players have been very historied here at GSL, I don't think we would ever anticipate these players being in the Final Four. I think if you took all the bracket predictions from all over the world, this is not a Final Four anybody would have come up with,
No.
which means we're going to have a very unique finalist as well.
Oh, for sure. I'm excited about that also. Like, every finals you have here that could possibly occur is very, very exciting for me. Like, I think TVT is by far the best mirror in StarCraft 2.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really good. And TY is the top of that, so even if he wins, that's amazing. And then, of course, if PartinG wins, this, like, ridiculous thing that we're watching him do where he just quits playing StarCraft at the peak of his career for years and then comes back. He's like, oh, no problem, I got this.
And
It's amazing to watch.
He's been dominating. He's just showing so much confidence in his play. TY, of course, has been casting every day that he's not been playing here. But no more of that. Let's go to this interview. Andy, take it away.
Before we get into today's match, we're going to have a brief interview with the two players playing tonight. And they are both born in 1994. They're the same age, and they both went to the finals in GSL 2 times. So I think it will be an interesting interview today. Hello TY. Hello PartinG. It's the round of 4. TY, you first. You defeated Dark, your nemesis, in the round of 8, and you came to the round of 4. It's not Maru that you wanted to play against, but how do you feel today? Well, I thought Maru wouldn't be bogged down by anyone else if it's not the TVT. But it was quite surprising. In the round of 8, in the interview, you mentioned that you're Rogue's avatar. So today, are you going to be TY or someone else's avatar today? Well, Special is actually quite good at beating PartinG, so I actually got help from him. So I took his advice. So today I think people can view me as Special's avatar today. Okay, then to you, PartinG. You defeated the best Terran in the world, Maru, and you came to this stage. So I'm sure the round of 8 and the round of 4 feel different. So how do you feel today? Well, first of all, coming into the round of 4 is really a pleasant experience. Well, the fans think that I'll beat TY just because I beat Maru, but to be frank, TY is the scary opponent for me. So as smart as Maru is, TY is amazingly smart when it comes to the games. So I've prepared quite hard, so I can kind of anticipate what plays he will bring in the game. So as you mentioned, you said TY is a smart player. Never in your life was Terran so important. In the round of 8 it was a Terran, round of 4 is a Terran, in the finals it will be a Terran as well. So it was almost a state of emergency because it could have been a round of 4 with all Terrans, but you prevented that. Well, I'm the sole Protoss remaining in this round of 4. So it's quite a heavy burden, to be honest. But regardless of that, I came here full prepared. So I'm going to put on a performance without any regrets. Regardless of who wins, I'm going to have a fun, exciting match. But even if I lose, I want to show everything that I got. And the two players both hold the record of moving on to GSL Finals 2 times. So I'm sure the two players are equally desperate for this win. So before we dive into the game, would you like to say anything to each other? TY has made a fierce preparation. I never thought he would beat Dark, to be honest. But watching him playing against Dark was quite fearsome. But today, I want to have an exciting match, and I hope that either of us lifts up the trophy. So TY, for 1 week, you know, it was really my head was aching because I didn't know what PartinG would play today. So I have high expectations of what PartinG will bring out today. And the two players are both desperate for this win today. And I hope the fans today can send a round of applause to both players, regardless of the result. And we'll kick off the match now.
아직도 내가 1승 카드로 보이는가 한번 물어보고 싶긴 하지만
So here we are, going into this best of 7. I think this is going to be a long one.
Yes.
I really don't think there's a clear favorite here. I think before this tournament had started, a lot of people might have said, if they knew these two were going to be facing off against each other, they might have said TY's the favorite. But seeing how PartinG has performed, it's really hard to say that this should be one-sided. No, I can't imagine it.
I cannot imagine it being one-sided. Yeah, you're completely right. If this doesn't go to at least 6 games, I'm going to be surprised.
Yeah.
And it feels like a series that could go to 7, which is like really hard to even get.
And think of the planning from these two players. They're so good at going through a series and showing different builds and putting out red herrings and detecting ticks and nuances in their opponent's play styles. So this is going to be a fascinating series to unpack and watch unfold.
Yeah, and I mean, they're just such different players. The thinking man, TY, one of the best Terrans in the world for so long, against the aggressive, execution-based mind game Protoss and PartinG. I feel like there's going to be fireworks here tonight, and I can't wait. It's like two of my absolute favorite players going at it. It's like the smartest player in StarCraft 2 against the coolest player in StarCraft 2, you know? He's so cool that he gave himself the dumb nickname Big Boy, and it stuck, and it's like on his jersey, and we had it written in the graphics. I'm like, damn, how do you do that? How do you pull that off? You have to be pretty damn cool for that to work.
Yeah, not everybody can pull that off for sure. We have no more Zergs left in GSL. Even Dark has been eliminated. 3 Terrans remain and only 1 Protoss. That Protoss, of course, is PartinG. TY, look, he's been one of the greatest for a long time, but this might be his biggest match yet. PartinG is in incredible form. He's, of course, a former world champion, took 3 years off, came back, and now appears to be ready to become a GSL champion here in this season, Season 1.
All right. I think it's going to be a slugfest. Can't wait. Let's get into this. All 7 maps, hopefully.
Hopefully. We will start this off on Everdream. This is a best of 7 between TY and PartinG. The winner will move on to be in the finals of the GSL Season 1 2020.
전투 준비 완료.
Oh, so this is how we're starting.
Okay. I knew this was going to happen in one or two of the games. I didn't know when. And this seems to be more trendy in the last couple of years of StarCraft, is to open up with a proxy as Terran. Let's see what kind of proxy this is going to be.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. Obviously only one SCV, but we'll see how many buildings get proxied. Pretty quick scout here from PartinG after Gateway. We'll see where he goes with it. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to scout the location of that barracks. He's scouting around, though, looking for a potential proxy.
And so it's going to be two barracks, one placed at the entrance, the other one out here in the far reaches of the upper left side of the map, far away enough that PartinG's probe, even though he was looking for that type of strategy, didn't see it.
This is very tricky, right? You get here and you see the barracks, and it's like, well, I mean, why would you think there's a second barracks on the map? It's not really all that common. We've seen it like a couple times.
Yeah.
This season, I think we saw it twice, I want to say, but it's certainly not something that's completely normal.
Not just that, but normally if you scout immediately, you're going to know if they're proxying you, right? Because you see the lack of the other barracks. But here, with the ordering this was done, there's no way to have any idea what's going on.
Well, he had the second depot making, so you can't get in to check the gas.
Exactly.
So you actually don't know. It's like, oh, is this like a gas first opener?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Now, this is the worst thing that can happen to PartinG, honestly. If you look for proxies twice and you find it neither time, you become more and more sure that there's not a proxy.
And this is going to be a concussive shell rush. And this is pretty scary because when that concussive shell finishes, whatever's being hit basically won't get away. It's like you're in one of those nightmares where you're trying to run away from one of your problems, but you can't get away.
Yes.
Yeah. This is one of these moments here. So the first adept is going to come out. Probably not going to be scouting for a proxy again here. I don't think this is going to go detected at all.
Yeah. Concussive shells are going to finish up here. There are some Marines out that are coming across the map. This is going to be scary. There is already a shield battery. Oh my god, if he finishes that shade, tasteless.
Yeah, he's already zoned himself out of position.
Yeah, he's really far out there.
This should just work. And here's exactly what's going to happen. The Stalker spotted, and it doesn't get away. And it's not near the battery.
Yeah, so that is a free kill already. There is one adept on the map. Okay, he's going to go ahead and heal that, but this is as bad as it can get. I don't think PartinG can hold this.
No, I think this is just game. This is a really smart opening here from TY. We don't even get to know what PartinG wanted to do in this game because the rush is so strong.
Yeah.
And no shield battery heal on that adept. And even with the shield battery healing the Stalker, I mean, how are you going to stop a bunker and all of this infantry? GG. TY takes game one, getting the lead in this best of 7. An excellent build order choice. PartinG, unfortunately, looking for something like that, wasn't able to find it at all, and was completely caught off guard when the attack came in.
Well, I tell you, TY continuing to show excellent planning and preparation throughout this tournament. Let's not forget that this is how he defeated Dark. He brought strategies in certain maps, in certain positions that Dark just was unable to handle. It wasn't necessarily like he out-microed him or out-macroed him. He out-strategized Dark, and here he is in game number 1, choosing a strategy and finding the weak points in PartinG. He gets that first map win. That is a big deal. Map 2, though, tasteless.
Well, we're going to go right into that.
Golden Wall.
So this is a very unique map. We'll be talking a little bit more about it when the game starts up. But, you know, TY with the planning, and again, whatever PartinG was going to do on that map, we'll never get to see. I mean,
there was a Twilight, and that's all we know.
Right, and we know that he does like to do a lot of Stalker play with a Robo, but immediately TY asserting himself in the series and saying, watch out, man. You know, PartinG's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, I think, going into game 2 and 3 here.
Maybe. Well, he's got to get himself on the board now. He can't be going down 0-2 to TY.
Okay, game 2 versus TY against PartinG. Again, a fight for the finals right now. TY with a 1-0 lead.
전투 준비 완료. TY 전태양. 드래곤 피닉스 게임 파티 원이상.
Again, best part of the Phoenix.
I think you mean the dragon.
Yes, sorry. Oh, I messed my own joke up.
That's
All right.
okay. That's okay.
Now I feel like partying in game 1. So, let's talk about this map. It's cut into 2 parts. There's the lower third down here, which is cut off by these gold minerals and other obstructions on the map. And then there's the upper 2/3. And this means you can be pushed in 2 different directions.
Yeah, it makes some interesting things. But before we get into that too much, I do want to mention TY blocks himself exactly like the last game. So he's making these 2 builds for maps 1 and 2 fit together very beautifully. Because obviously in game 1 he had a hidden proxy when he did this full wall, and PartinG was punished by that. So now PartinG has to be wondering, you know, is there something out there? What is he doing? What is this?
Right, exactly.
So really a beautiful pairing of these first 2 build orders.
And again, this is the whole beauty of a best of 7, where there's so many different strategies. How do you weave them all together to have each one disguise the other one?
Yeah.
To where instead of each game being one where you can unlock a little bit more information, in fact, it's becoming more convoluted as the game goes on. And this is TY, with excellent planning. I don't think PartinG's going to be fooled by it, but again, the design of it is very good.
Yeah. I do want to mention we just saw PartinG actually mine out the minerals, so now there is some flow between those 2 sides.
And this is not that common, at least in pro matches, to see somebody run out there right away.
Yeah, we haven't seen that. We haven't seen that
I
at
don't
all.
think we've casted a single game
Not
where
in
it's been
GSL,
done.
at least.
At least for us. But that does change some of the ways that we understand this map. Now, what is that? Is that a defensive measure? Is that an offensive measure? I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
I think time is going to show us. It was PartinG that elected to do it, not TY.
I think it's... Yeah, I actually don't know what it is, but I think it's defensive. Like, he's kind of been scouting. He kind of knows something's up.
It does seem like on this map, it's more likely that Terran would win with a push than Protoss in the early game, based off of the 2 platforms that are separate, and now because of PartinG's actions, somewhat connected.
Most of the games that we've seen here, PvT, and we haven't seen a whole lot, but a lot of it's, one of the more popular ones has been like, take a gold, go blink into charge, and just get a massive army as Protoss. It's been like pretty simple overall. We've seen, you know, a little bit of variation, but again, we haven't seen too much of the map. It's been vetoed a lot this season.
We've also seen players tone down trying to nag the gold base early, which does happen on a lot of gold base maps. Is that everybody tries to take advantage of it, and then people get pretty good at stopping it, and it tends to go into a more normal game direction here. And so we have the medevac coming in here now. The observer earlier showed us there was a blind spot here, just on this little peninsula or whatever of this.
We've seen this used
platform
multiple times.
Yeah.
There are stalkers in here, but I mean, 3 Hellions is a magic number, right? 7 probes already dead.
Even stalker shots being missed. Oh my god!
Oh my god! I can't believe you brought those probes back.
I think that was way too.
Yeah. So now 16 probes dead. This is not a good thing.
No, not if you're Protoss, man.
He is making a Dark Shrine, but TY just flew over it. The Dark Shrine, I mean, maybe he isn't looking and we doesn't
just
realize.
Saw, PartinG emitted a big sigh.
Yeah.
In his booth after the Hellions got out. He shouldn't have turned the probes back. You know, now people are so good when they drop in, they'll get all the shots off and then actually pick up all the attacking units without losing any. And sometimes players are playing so fast, they'll say, okay, good, the drop's over, get back to mining. And then that's when the real damage comes in, is the second part of the drop, where they just unload again.
Yeah, that happens, yeah. Well, PartinG's in a lot of trouble for game number 2 here. There is a Raven on the way, so the odds of DTs doing anything is like very, very low. His probe count is so low here. Look at that, 25 probes right now. That's just, it's brutal. His economy's terrible. He doesn't really have anything going on.
Yeah, this is a straightforward game, I would say, for Terran here. I mean, if you do that much damage early on, this basically means it's the Protoss's job to figure out how to come back and win. You've done your part. All you have to do is expand and build up an army and watch them and look for, okay, are you going to expand again? Do you have an attack in here? And just stop that. And it's one of the more straightforward ways a StarCraft game can go, but I mean, for TY, everything's worked so far.
Mm-hmm. There's a DT out. It's in the prism here.
I think the Hellion saw it.
Yeah, maybe. It's hard to imagine this really doing very much. PartinG is hard supply blocked also at 46, so he's just not even playing well at this moment. That's, you know, that hurts. When you see someone hit a supply block then make 3 pylons suddenly, it's like, oh no.
Yeah, it's when something bad happens in your game and then you're so in your own head. Yeah. And one thing about PartinG, he is one of the more emotional players in GSL. He rides the highs, but also when the lows come, you know, it gets even lower. And I mean, that's about as much as you can do with the bare minimum. But really, that was 3 SCVs killed.
And you know what? This was good from PartinG. Like, yeah, the damage isn't huge. He got, okay, 4 SCVs here, and he's going to get out. But he saw the 2 additional barracks on the way, so now he knows exactly what's coming. This is a massive 2-base push off of 5 barracks. Normally, like, very normal play is 3 racks into a 3rd base for Terran, but TY, I mean, he's done the damage. Why not do this?
Okay, and now the War Prism, is this somehow get away?
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Not in a million years did I, okay.
Okay, yeah.
I was going to say.
Don't worry, you were right. It wasn't going to get away.
There was no way, man.
But,
okay, so that goes down, and
how do you stop this army, Tasteless?
I don't think you can, Artosis.
Yeah.
I think this is just about as bad as it gets. And, you know, every single engagement that Terran has just puts Terran further ahead. Whether it's killing workers, killing the War Prism, or just killing that Observer. I believe, unless there's some kind of miracle play here from PartinG, and with Stalkers, and, well, actually, Storm's a ways off, so just Stalkers, I don't think there's any way it's physically possible to finesse your way out of this.
No, it seems impossible. He has double shield battery and a wall, so he can definitely buy some time. Maybe he can get Storm done. That's like maybe best case scenario here, I guess. See, so like the shield batteries are helping. He has his Stalkers on the high ground here. Living through the first push is the first part of a comeback, right?
Right. The gateways will go down. The Stalkers actually have a pretty good angle here to try to fight this, but...
Totally. Like, I mean, he's doing all right here. And Storm's going to finish pretty soon now.
TY is going to end up getting the Cybernetics core, though, which is really annoying. That's the starting point for all tech here. So that'll have to be remade. Now, TY is diving in here because there's also a drop happening in the main. He wants to keep PartinG's screen here. And so this drop's going to come in. It's actually just in the edge of vision.
Dude, he has so much going on here. PartinG has nothing. GG.
GG.
GFG, GG.
Wow.
So...
We've been live for under a half hour. It's 2-0 already in a best of 7. Now, PartinG can win. Luckily for him, we actually have a commercial break coming up here, which I think
he can collect himself.
PartinG needs that right now. Look, game 1, I don't think there's much PartinG could have done. He was actually playing, even though he lost, PartinG played at 100%. Game 2, that dropped it too much damage, and then PartinG actually got supply blocked by his own fault. The War Prism didn't do anything. The Observer was shot down. I mean, TY at this point in time looks unstoppable. He certainly is stoppable if PartinG can pull it together and play better. But right now, and this happens in best of 5s. I mean, when you come in here, the entire day, the entire show is about you and one other guy duking it out, and you're down 2-0. Game 3 is critical.
Yeah, down 3-0 is like, we've had how many reverse sweeps in best of 7s? 1?
I think 2.
2? Have we had 2? I know Soulkeeper's Innovation, but I can't think of another one. Oh, actually, Classic did it in Super Tournament.
That's right. But
there you go.
Statistically, it's very rare that you're down 0-3 and you're like, I got it, and you win 4 games in a row. So, again, we're going to have that break, but PartinG needs to pull it together. If he can win 1 game, and I think you have to take this 1 game at a time at this point in time. You know,
when we win 1 game, it starts feeling like, okay, we're back into this.
Yeah.
But so far, TY has made very decisive plays in the early game, and they've paid off.
We'll be right back.
What has been enshrined Don't wanna start a fight. Just leave these feelings unspoken. But you showed up tonight, convinced that we were never broken. But girl, you never listen. You think it's what it isn't. Can't you see that? Every time we give in, we're heading for a dead end. I've got to say it. Don't make me make you cry. Won't make me change my mind. It's obvious that it isn't gonna work. Better stop running or we'll walk away hurt. I'm trying to say goodbye. Been here 1,000 times. We say yes, but we should know. We're better off, baby, if you let me let you go. Let me let you go. I'm not the enemy. I'm just trying to be honest. This isn't meant to be. You're only making this harder. We've gone around in circles. Wish I could reverse it, but it's not that easy. Ain't nothing gonna save us. All that's left is chaos. Baby, don't make me make you cry. Won't make me change my mind. It's obvious that it isn't gonna work. Better stop running or we'll walk away hurt. I'm trying to say goodbye. Been here 1,000 times. We say yes, but we should know. We're better off, baby, if you let me let you go. Let me let you go. You know I love you, baby, but I can't take it. No matter what we do, we're not gonna make it. You know I love you, baby, but I can't take it. No matter what we do, we're not gonna make it. Don't make me make you cry. Won't make me change my mind. It's obvious that it isn't gonna work. Better stop running or we'll walk away hurt. I'm trying to say goodbye. Been here 1,000 times. We say yes, but
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
야, 우리 진짜 한 판만 더 이기면 돼. 야, 그럼 나 화장실 좀 갔다 올게.
야, 어디가?
금방 와.
자, 이 정도. 20여 명의 학생들이 컴퓨터 게임에 몰입하고 있는 또 다른 PC방. PC방의 전원을 꺼보겠습니다.
From the beginning.
거기 들어와. 그 밑에 걔 잡고. 나이스. 나이스. 됐어.
아, 미안해, 로우나. 화났어?
미안해. 내가 해줄게.
아, 잠깐, 내가 누르면 안 돼. 아, 누르면 안 돼, 지금. 아, 잠깐. 경쾌하게 무슨 소리야?
좋은 시간 되세요.
From the beginning.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
TY 전태양 파팅 원이상. 아프리카 TV 브레이크업 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL S1 코드 S 쇼다운.
So we were only live for a half hour before we went to commercial. We did the opening of the show, had some highlight videos, did an interview, and we went through 2 games, and we could possibly be halfway through day 1 of the round of 4.
It's possible.
I hope not.
TY has taken a very offensive stance. He has basically killed PartinG off of 1 base both games. Even though the last one he macroed up afterwards, the damage was done. It was like a killing move. 16 probes right at the beginning. can't be losing that.
Now, real quick here, we have an event because, of course, we don't have any ability to have an audience here for our finals. But as you can see on the bottom of our screen, you can submit a cheerful. That's those signs you see people holding at esports events where they make a drawing or send a message. It can be to any player. I mean, make it about whatever you want. Have some fun with it, and we'll be showing that on our finals, which will be a week from now. I believe they need to be submitted. Yeah, it says down there by Wednesday, June 3rd.
And it can be things relating to GSL's 10th anniversary. It can be things about the finalists. I believe it's kind of just anything you want to make it cheerful about. You can send it in.
Just have fun with it.
And we're going to be showing those on the show, right? So that's a reason to send
We take all those and we delete them. And no, send them in. And, if the staff picks it, we'll be showing it. And that's as good as you're going to get.
Yeah.
Until the
so
pandemic
it's kind
is
of
over.
like you're here with us a little bit, kind of.
Yeah. Maybe your sign, your drawing will be shown on there.
Yeah, it could be. So go ahead. Get to work. Get some of those out there.
Mm-hmm. We might have another commercial break before this is over, so that'd be a good time to do it, too. But back to this series. Game 3 right now for this best of 7 is the most important if PartinG's going to win.
Yes.
And by the way, it's also the most important if TY is basically going to guarantee that he'll take this. Because, again, we almost never see a reversal, a player that's up 3-0 and then loses 4 games in a row. Yeah. Keep in mind there is risk-taking involved here. Yeah. There's a bit of a poker game in a best of 7. What build do you use? Can you predict how they're going to play? This is why PartinG looks so concerned going into Game 3.
Yeah, well, the first 2 games went so poorly. I guarantee you, by the way, that's the last time we're going to see stuff dropped at that location in Golden Wall and destroy somebody.
Yeah.
Because it's happened too many times now to the point where you are going to need to, put something down there. Depot, pylon, whatever. All right, Simulacrum, this is kind of a very vanilla map. I guess that's as good a place as any to start coming back. The map after this is the map that we always have big macro games on.
That's right.
So this might be the time if PartinG wants to be aggressive.
And this map, number 3, is loading up now. TY versus PartinG continues on a fight to get to the GSL Season 1 Finals.
전투 준비 완료.
Okay. I love this from TY from a planning standpoint because
I agree.
Here's the thing. I don't think that PartinG can cheese unless he really wants to throw caution to the wind here. And so he's going to do a proxy again. And look, when you're ahead like this, in a way, you're able to just take more risks, right?
You are. And, I mean, if
is
he
this
does
going to be the concussive shell build again?
It could be. I want to see him actually do the same wall at home now because that was...
Let's talk about this for a second.
Oh, you know what? This is double gas, so it's going to be a Reaper into factory. Probably at home.
He won't get the same wall up then?
No.
No, okay.
No,
so,
when you go double gas, just get the quick factory out.
So this is very cool, though.
Yeah.
TY with a little bit of pressure. Again, the probe will come in here. Sometimes the best way to scout if you're being proxied is to just run into the main and see if stuff is missing.
And PartinG gonna realize, okay, being proxy at the moment, he's gonna have to watch to see if the factory goes down in the main base because that's a very important part of this.
So alarms sound on PartinG's side of the map. Is he gonna be ready? How much damage is this gonna do?
No factory yet. Should be coming up in just a moment here. And he sees it, so that is the important part that PartinG was kind of waiting for here. He's making the Zealot to make sure the Reaper can't do too much damage.
Yeah, that buys you a little bit of extra time. This probe actually gets inside the main here, too. Here comes that bunker.
All right, Reaper gonna pop up into that main base. I like that. The bunker kind of draws the Zealot away and allows the Reaper to do a bit more damage in the main.
Yeah, and that Zealot is now chasing down the SCV that was making that bunker. Are we going to get a probe kill here? It looks like he's going to pull him back.
He got one, yeah.
Oh, did he already? Okay.
Yeah.
And this is where the rush ends.
Yeah, it was, I think it's doing fine still here. Looks like PartinG going to make a shield battery. All right. So PartinG's not dead yet. That's good. That's important.
And this is important in a sense that PartinG has not gotten to do any of the strategies or planning. He's not been able to show us that yet. In Game 1, he was beat outright. In Game 2, every sequential attack did damage and gave the Terran value to the point where the Terran did a pretty early mid-game push and just won.
Yeah. You know, PartinG was talking about not having any regrets, showing his best today. You know, win or lose. If he keeps losing, like in games 1 or 2, he will have regrets. You know? It's like that's something that at some point you can't really control. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I get cheesed so many times now and I'm dead.
And
but
this
look
counterplay here
nice.
from PartinG is really good. He's actually taking out any SCVs that are making this over here. And you know, the Reapers, they're hard to kill, but they also can't hold their ground. I mean, Stalkers and Zealots are both just better units when it comes to fighting. So this is going to be a forced cancel. And this is, for the first time tonight, going to be a pretty big victory here for PartinG.
Oh, yeah, he gets rid of one of the Stalkers, but with another one coming up, that's enough to push him back, and he has to do that cancel, like you said. That's a very late cancel, too. Sometimes when these rushes come, you know that you're going to have to cancel, so you cancel immediately, restart it on your high ground.
Yeah, make it next to your main.
That's actually, when you know it's going to be canceled, it's less damage than what we just saw there, because that is really stalled out.
Yeah, in a way, the fact that TY was holding his ground down there and trying to fight back, it ended up being even worse for him because, in the long run,
he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to hold that or not.
Sunken cost fallacy there. And so, he has to cancel the CC, backs up, and this is finally a moment where PartinG is starting to shine here. Now, we do have a counterattack coming across the map.
Yeah, this is actually very, very scary. There's a lot of Hellions. There's quite a few Reapers. There's a medevac on the way. So even though there's a huge probe lead right now, Hellions can ruin that very quickly, especially with the grenades popping the Stalkers into the wrong direction.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's a very good point, Artosis. The grenades can actually control the surface area. And by the way, the probes being drawn over here to help defend is exactly what TY wants to have happen here.
Look at this. He's actually just killing the Stalkers through a shield battery and killing the probes. Oh my god.
Oh man.
PartinG just threw his head to the side, and this is going to be another disappointing loss here for PartinG.
Yeah, I mean, I think he didn't appreciate the amount that could be the Terran could fight back with here. GG, whoa.
Yeah, this is
awesome. Round of 4 is done quick here. Look at PartinG. Whoa. He is...
Well, TY is like, we haven't been talking about him a lot during the tournament, but is he not just dismantling everybody?
By the way, TY...
truly wrecking face?
TY cast this. Someone stop this man. He's our caster.
He barely
and our
shows up
now.
for his cast, man. He's always playing.
It's crazy. Yeah, I know. We have Furious as the other caster, who is just making extra money over here as TY might win this whole tournament. And look at PartinG. Okay, now PartinG is in the most perilous position in StarCraft 2 tournament play.
Yes.
Coming back 4-0 if he's going to win this. That's 4 games where he plays so well, he wins, he doesn't make any mistakes. TY has so many possible ways he can play this. TY could do 4 all-ins in a row. And if one of them works, it's fine. He goes on.
Yeah. I mean, he could do anything 4 times in a row.
And conversely, if you're on PartinG's in PartinG's position here, if you take a risk or do an all-in in one of these games and it doesn't work, you're out.
Yeah. Well, he might have to do that though. I think at this point, you have to have everything go your way, right? You almost have to throw caution to the wind, I think, because if he tries to play a cautious game here, I think that's not going to work out for him.
It's been 42 minutes.
42 minutes?
Including the commercials since we started.
PartinG, come on.
This could be the shortest GSL ever.
Yeah, it might be.
It might be.
It's a real possibility right now.
Or it could be the greatest comeback ever.
Well, the next map is Eternal Empire. We always have long, epic macro games here, like always.
That's right.
I can't even remember.
And, you know, I wouldn't be shocked if TY goes for a macro game here either. The problem is I thought if PartinG was going to win, it would be through very specific planning and technical play. And look at PartinG. This is even more concerning how flustered he looks.
Well, it's been a rough series so far, to say the least. TY is just tearing his limbs off, and they don't grow back like bunny limbs, unfortunately.
Yeah. He's no starfish, Artosis.
No, certainly.
And bunny tails, by the way, not limbs. Get your animals right,
Dude,
man.
Yeah. Who knows what you believe, Tasteless?
What I know, you mean.
Yeah.
That's my truth, Artosis. All right, game 4, TY versus PartinG. TY with a 3-0 lead.
전투 준비 완료. TY 전태양.
I think Curious is still talking. I haven't introduced PartinG yet.
Dude, we're not bringing you back if we don't introduce PartinG here, Curious. Come on now.
All right, there we go.
All right, anyways.
I guess we're going to skip that then.
Yeah,
All right, there we
so.
go. There we go. Sorry, we got to wait for the Korean commentators to cue it in.
Okay, so... you know, there's been a lot of proxying from TY. Remember when Maru started his crazy run of 4 GSLs in a row? The first 3 seasons, he was basically just building his buildings out on the map. And then the 4th season, he backed up into macro games.
Yeah, like a madman, he just made stuff at his base.
And then the 5th season, Innovation was like, get out of here, and eliminated him. What if TY does the same now? This is his first of 4 GSLs in a row where he just proxies all year and wins everything. It's like, oh, this is how you do it, it turns out. You want championships? Play that aggro style. Okay, so
Maybe,
here,
man.
this is not even a Reaper. Just going command center right into factory. Cool.
By the way, real quick here, because Game 3 ended so quickly, and it looks like this is going to be a slower opening here for Game 4. Was PartinG being too greedy in Game 3 after he stopped the command center? Because it seemed like there was only 2 stalkers there, and I wasn't following the tech that closely. In my mind, it was still pretty fresh that the CC was denied, and I was already trying to build a narrative of, okay, maybe there's a comeback, and suddenly there's like 4 or 5 Hellions and all these Reapers. And
okay, so no one ever goes for like what we saw there. We've seen definitely 4 Hellions and a Reaper to pop the Stalker out of a wall. This specific game that we just saw, he made a couple additional gates of the natural, if I'm recalling the building layout correctly, but it was not in a wall fashion. When you see that your opponent's actually making more than like 1 or 2 Hellions, you really need to wall your natural, right? It's actually very, very important. And when they have the Reapers there, it's still dangerous. Because like there's just not high enough DPS. The damage output of the Stalkers can't really stop the Hellions there. So I would say just he had an error in building placement that was probably the #1 contributor there.
yeah, he did have to pull probes, and
Well, as soon as they get in, it's
weird,
like you have 2 Stalkers. That's you're just not going to win anything. Like
yeah,
they'll stay alive a
funny
long time, but
if you don't pull the probes, you lose. But if you do pull the probes,
you also lose.
You also lose. Yeah.
Yeah.
You might win the fight, but you've already lost the workers anyways, and that's one of the things the attack was intending to do. And so now, by the way, I think we're finally going to see the kind of game that PartinG wanted to play all along. Now,
he has a wall, by the way.
Yes. Good adjustment. Yeah. So, PartinG has beaten so many great Terrans by coming in here with Blink Stalker, pressuring the Terran, forcing the Terran to defend and respect him, and then PartinG takes the 3rd behind it. Now, we never got to see that game so far in this series because TY was ending it so quickly, but it appears, and we'll see how this next attack goes. Because
yeah, this is
a
big deal, this attack.
But if PartinG holds this, we're going to get into PartinG's game. But again, TY taking the initiative every time. Very interesting to see him planning this out in such an aggressive fashion.
Yeah, so the Marines going to the front want to draw attention so he can get a Hellion drop off into the main base. Let's see about that. The Stalkers turn around here. The Hellion's getting on top of probes. Oh my god. This is already some pretty significant damage.
11 kills? I don't know, man. He, again, has not lost any Hellions. He drops one over here to draw some Stalker fire. I don't believe he's going to actually commit to the natural. The Marines get away, at least 3 do.
12 kills. All TY needs to do right now is turtle up.
Dude.
He sees exactly what PartinG's build is here, which is the Blink Stalker build that he's been using a lot. I mean, PartinG definitely has an opportunity here to do damage.
That's right.
His army is going to be scary. It's going to be a lot of Stalkers blinking in, blinking out. And, I mean, TY, he's making bunkers, but don't forget, a lot of his build time has been for those Marines. He lost like half of them in that attack. And then the Hellions, which are not good against Blink Stalkers.
Okay, Stalkers are going to come in here now. Now, 2 Hellions are going to be used to counterattack. They're fairly high on hit points as well, so they should get some kills. But it looks like TY has actually just neglected the front door of his base. And now these Stalkers can come in. There's a Raven here. Looks like there's going to be a few more probe kills, but the real action is over here at TY's entrance.
Well, he has that bunker on the high ground right now. PartinG trying to get in on top of this siege tank. Okay, he picks it off.
Blinks away from the auto turret for a second here. He's denying that bunker. More Stalkers warping in. And this is PartinG playing the game he planned for here. This is how he got to the position he's in now in GSL. Now, this is really hard for Terran because anytime a tank is lost, so much more damage is going to be dealt over here. And here we go again. A dive on the tank and then a retreat. Oh, wow, look at that. The wall in there around that actually punishes the Stalker blink.
Yeah,
that's
really
very intentional by TY.
Yeah, very cool placement there, but now his Marines are actually stuck as well. He loses the Raven right there. SCV's being pulled. The auto turret went down before, so that'll give him a little bit more defense. Another tank, siege up. Oh my god, he blinks up. The bunker is empty. It tries to get salvaged, but gets picked off first.
And now the Marines are going to come up here, and even though TY did that damage early on, by the way, he takes out the Stalker, the Observer. I can't talk today. And that means you won't have vision up there, but this is the way PartinG was able to take down the greatest Terrans. Another Observer comes up, and look at this beautiful play by PartinG. He dives in, and we are getting very close to a Protoss win here. It's very difficult for Terran to regain control. If this next tank is picked off, you can see already Stalkers are being used to try to help defend here.
He does pick off that Observer, though. Very important moves. He tries to siege up, but the siege tank dies before it can do anything at all. Look at this now. Trying to micro 2 groups of Stalkers. That group blinks away.
Yeah, some of these weaker Stalkers need to stay in the back of the fight. We've seen 4 tanks have been killed so far. There's almost as many Stalkers as there are Marines at this point in time. And Marines are just inferior when it comes to micro capabilities compared to the Stalkers.
Yeah. You can see PartinG right now. He's rotating out his very hurt Stalkers so they can regain some of their shields there in the back. Moving forward now, forcing that lift off.
Denies a fresh mule.
Yeah, a lot of depots here as well. Oh my god, he blinks up to hit the tank. Does end up getting the tank here.
Did he do
but
it?
A bit of a surround.
I think actually Protoss is fine with this.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, if you lose every Stalker, you might not be. This Marine count is getting reasonably high, but that's more Stalkers warping in.
Another tank is being made right now, but that's going to be it. GG, PartinG wins Game 4, beginning the reverse sweep.
Okay, okay. So we finally have a win on the board for the big boy.
Thank God.
Yeah, if that had... I mean,
when
he got 12 probes and had 2 bunkers at home, I'm like, oh, I don't know. This is not looking good.
If you notice, TY emptied the bunker in his main because he needed to defend the natural so much, and PartinG noticed that. Blinked in, and then it was just a situation where TY had no safe spot to put his tank.
Yeah.
Another thing to note, too, this was really cool by TY. When he realized that there was going to be Stalkers blinking on the tanks, he made a depot wall around where the Stalkers would blink in so they'd be stuck. But it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, that was a very interesting play from him as well. But yeah, here we are, Tasteless, and can PartinG do it? Can he win 3 more maps? It's a big ask.
Yeah. Well, the series so far, TY's been very aggressive, and it even succeeded in the game that he lost. He killed off, was it 12 probes?
12 probes.
So, but at the same time, it shows that if PartinG gets into that phase of the game where he's doing the Stalkers with Blink and the Observer to spot on the high ground, he has a Warp Prism, and he's controlling the Terran, he's very good. But if I'm TY in the situation, I just look at this and I say, let's go back to doing aggressive attacks. Let's not let Protoss even get to that phase of the game. And 3 games is enough time to do that.
Yeah.
We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, game number 5 in this best of 7. Do not go away.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
너무 많이 마셨다.
청정제주 숙취비법과 탄산의 만남. 숙취엔 가스강.
라면이요.
이게
나왔습니다.
잠깐만 들어주세요. 빨리 나와요 이거.
음료 나왔습니다.
From the beginning.
숙취 이제 탄산으로. 청정제주 숙취비법과 탄산의 만남. 숙취엔 가스강.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
TY 전태양 파팅 원이상. 아프리카 TV 브레이크업 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL S1 Code S Showdown.
So we've gotten an update here. In Game 3, that was the game where PartinG attacked and killed the command center and then ran back home, and then he abruptly died to this counterattack, and it didn't look like a normal game. That's because he forgot Warp Gate, which is just not something we were factoring in. But that is not ever something that is normal even to forget in a pro match. That's basically unforgivable, which shows psychologically PartinG was probably shaken after the first 2 losses, and in the third game he basically defeated himself. Now PartinG's pulled it back together, winning the way that PartinG has won before. However, TY is so much like a sponge. He'll just absorb every bit of information and add that to his arsenal as we go here into Game 5.
Is he a sponge or is he a helium printer, Tasteless? Because these games so far have mostly been TY massacring the probes at the beginning.
We're going to the map Zen. PartinG has been in the most difficult position in a best of 7 because he's lost the first 3 games. He started the comeback. Can he win 3 more games in a row? If TY takes any of these games, the series is over. Anyways, Game 5 is loaded up. This is TY versus PartinG, a fight to get to the GSL Finals.
전투 준비 완료. TY 전태양. 드래곤 피닉스 게이밍 파팅 원이상.
Right. PartinG getting aggressive here. TY also being a little bit cheeky.
Yeah, so this
should favor PartinG though.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So TY hides the barracks not close to his opponent, but close to himself, since the whole map is hard to scout everywhere.
This is to throw PartinG off specifically.
Yes, exactly. However, PartinG is already opening up with aggression here.
Well, with that gate, he's going to be able to put on a lot of pressure, and there's going to be float time on that barracks, which means less units. I look at this, and I think that this is a very good opener for PartinG against what TY is doing.
Yeah, these 2 builds interacting with each other, I would definitely give this to Protoss, or at least give them a little bit of an edge here. Let's see how TY handles this. Note the pylon placed here. That is to block the wall in.
Yeah.
And this is very smart. This is an old technique dating back all the way to StarCraft 1 in the first year of the game, is just putting a pylon somewhere to stop placement of any buildings where you can set up a wall. That also does telegraph, though, to the Terran that he's being rushed. Of course, PartinG is a player who also likes to try to put out fake plays as well. But I think TY is going to respect this and try to defend this as much as possible.
Oh, he gets the probe. I think that that's an important part of this as well. I think he'll probably start a Cyclone immediately when that factory finishes up. You know, maybe the pylon doesn't actually end up making that much of a difference.
Well,
Obviously, there's some lost mining time here, but it seems like he's going to be able to hold on. Yeah, the bunker in the wall actually is really good for this situation.
He actually drops the wall in to try to get SCVs to come down here to tank damage for the...
He has to be careful here. If you surround that Stalker, it's done.
Yeah. Second Stalker comes up. PartinG needs to be careful not to overextend here. Good dodge on the mine. Oh my god.
No dodge on that mine, Tasteless. Looks like he is, this rush is mostly done. I thought he was going to be able to do a little bit more than that, but it worked out in TY's favor.
The question now is, what is the next step here for PartinG? PartinG immediately throws down a Twilight Council. There is a Reaper going across the map to try to scout and identify what the Protoss has planned here.
Okay, well, with the double mines and the bunker at the top of the ramp, TY is completely invincible. The Twilight and the Robo, and this is off of one base. Like, I wonder what his plan is right here. The Reaper's going to scout what the tech is.
You know, one of the reasons
like, is this a one base 4-gate blink?
Maybe, I don't know. One of the reasons why we don't see one base that often is because it's just an older way of playing, and usually players are able to defend pretty much anything and take and expand. And so I don't know if this is a reaction to the scouting by PartinG to just expand himself, or if this is
like it, doesn't it?
It does feel like it, right? He probably would have Nexus first and then made the Twilight Council, but it's hard to say.
I think so. Well, TY right now is making his own command center as well, and he has a mine drop out on the map. There's only one Stalker at home, so PartinG basically has to see this. If he loses all of his probes at this point with only one Nexus done, that is not going to be a game that he's going to be able to win.
Okay, here comes the medevac now. There's an observer heading out. He's going to have to turn around with this. Oh, look at this, the Reapers.
Oh, okay, very quick reaction from PartinG.
And he's going to try to, once again, get a good connect here. And this mine's going to be taken out. Nicely done. No value gain there from TY. But I think the attack was really good. TY is so good at hitting two places at once. You know, StarCraft 2 being the fastest RTS by far ever made. You get your screen in the wrong spot for a second or two and you will lose the game.
But PartinG really was paying attention there. Very good to see. Blink is almost done. He started warping offensively. So definitely going to be seeing an attack coming up. Blink is done.
Nicely done. PartinG, you know, even though his initial strategy didn't work out, he's slowly building himself into a position where I think this is going to be a pretty strong showing from him. And now we're getting back into a game that looks like it could be pointed in the direction of our previous game.
Yeah.
We have a command center coming down here.
Yeah.
There's tanks being made, plenty of stalkers with Blink. Is PartinG going to be able to pull off the technique that's got him this far, got him to the Final Four of the GSL?
With one base for TY right now, no, he can't do anything. It's way too well defended. You can't blink up there. But what he can do is deny for a little bit this command center coming down and maybe get into a macro lead, right? He's up 5 workers right now. I feel like he can actually make a third Nexus, to be honest.
The observer noticed that it goes up here into the main. He might want to try to put pressure on here and then blink up there. Now there's only one tank, and it's very important the tank stays alive for as long as possible and that you don't lose it to a dive by Blink. But I think there's too many infantry here to make a dive ever worthwhile, because you jump in, kill the tank, and then lose everything.
He definitely doesn't really have any room to get in right now. So again, this feels to me like a situation where he should be thinking about taking another base. Right? Like, he's just poked in there. He loses a Stalker to kill a Marine. That's not a good trade.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a third base is definitely warranted right now.
Maybe it looks like he might be going Colossus Tech first, which could be a little bit safer. But that's fine. It's just as long as he's getting into a macro game rather than only building Stalkers, right? He's on 12 Stalkers right now. 16 Stalkers isn't going to make the difference. 18 Stalkers isn't. 20 Stalkers isn't, right? Because TY is making units, and this is just too turtle to position.
The Liberator's coming down now. And this is a pretty big nuisance for the Protoss. He's going to have to pull some workers away and then warp in some more Stalkers here. We do have that third base being made finally.
4 probes. That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, already the Liberator's paid for itself here.
Yeah.
I don't know about this blinking every time. It seems like every time he does this, he's going to take hull damage on the Stalkers.
Yeah.
You know?
He's picking off a couple units. I guess he hasn't lost a Stalker here.
There's no medevac with this infantry, so every shot for now is permanent damage on the infantry. But PartinG's not really watching here, and this is one of these moments where this really begins to add up, you know? He needs to micro that. Okay, good. He gets out of...
Yeah, you might be able to finally kill this off, but that has now killed 9 probes, which is just a gigantic kill count for your first Liberator.
I almost wish we had the player cams on screen here, because the physically, the way the two players look right now is totally different. I mean, TY looks completely relaxed.
Yeah. Everything, sometimes something goes wrong here. PartinG is
jerking around in his chair.
He's showing
and mumbling to himself.
Yeah.
Looks like PartinG's fishing for another opportunity to take. You know, I gotta say, TY should not be out on the map like that. Look, he's even gonna stutter step micro forward and then not kill a single stalker.
Yeah, I think he might even be caught off guard of how many stalkers there are out here.
Yeah, that was
because it is kind of that situation I was talking about where I'm like 16 stalkers, you don't need it. 18, you don't need it. I'm sure TY thinks the same thing. Like,
it was really funny too because he actually stutter step microed into it really well and then still lost everything.
Yeah. He's like, I got to get my damage done. Then he's like, wait a minute, that's a lot of stalkers. Like, and you really like your stalkers here.
Oh, he actually does. Yeah, he gets the medevac and gets the rest of this infantry, and this is quite a bit of hemorrhaging here from TY. It doesn't mean that TY is going to lose. In fact, he's still ahead in supply. He has a bigger army.
We have 4 High Templars, though. So
very true.
I don't think his army is really ready to deal with this. But he has that Raven. And if you disable at the right time, sometimes things go very wrong for Protoss.
Well, I think that TY can't push, but I do think he can expand. And expanding is all he really needs to do here. He could if he wanted to try to storm drop. All right, here we go.
Oh, he's actually just diving on him, but that's a lot of siege tanks. Doesn't really get much done, but only loses Zealots, which is okay.
Great disable on the Warp Prism.
You know, not the end of the world for PartinG here. Oh, is he just going to storm drop? Oh, there's a turret. Watch out, PartinG. I don't want this to end yet.
I know, right?
It's okay if TY wins, but let's have a better series.
Great storm there.
Yeah, gaining a little bit of value. Uses a lot of the storms. Weakens that army slightly. And look at this. PartinG he wants to stay aggressive, but he is also getting ready to take his 4th.
It seems like PartinG is flirting with the idea of actually diving in here. In fact, we're going to have that right now. He's going to come in again, and if he storms this as they're retreating, oh my god, this is just too much damage.
Oh, man.
PartinG completely smashes through. I think that might be game. Yeah, GG. PartinG takes game 5, continuing the comeback.
All right, and now we see TY reacting a little bit. He did not look super happy with the results of this game. TY known for dropping series after being on match point many times in the past. It's normally a best of 5, though, not a best of 7.
Have you ever had a situation that's like a best of 7 where you're ahead that much and you're so confident and then you feel each loss?
It starts to make it slipping it away.
Reality starts to sink in more and more.
Yeah.
Each game, you can see here with PartinG, after being down 0-3, every win, he's that much closer to undoing all the damage at the start of the series. TY realizes now only 2 more wins here, and PartinG has done the unthinkable.
It's 3-2. This is a nice close map score right now. This is suddenly anyone's series. All right, Nightshade. Still, TY is on match point.
You can see, I think actually there might be some muscles pulled here in PartinG's left shoulder.
There's you're going to be pretty tense during some of these situations where he's like, okay, I have to blink micro perfect or I'm out.
If I misclick once, it's all over.
Yeah.
Game 6 is ready. TY versus PartinG continues on.
전투 준비 완료. TY 전태양. 드래곤 피닉스 게임 파티 1 이상.
I'm excited. What are we going for this game?
So we have a probe sent out very early on. Again, PartinG historically a very unpredictable player. The only thing predictable about him is that he is usually unpredictable. But
he's become more predictable, though, right? He keeps using this blink stalker stuff.
Well, that's true, but it should be noted that, you know, he will always do the craziest all in.
Yeah. He is absolutely willing to pull the trigger on something
wild. He's had the best control. I would say, you know, top 5 of all time players that can control units, and he'll definitely win fights he shouldn't win. I'm almost more interested in what TY is going to do here, because TY's planning went so well in the series early on. But I think PartinG is starting to feel it. I think he's in his element here.
Yeah. Well,
you're down 0-3. You've won 2 games. You realize, oh, I can actually do this too.
It's in sight now, right? 2 map wins. We're on game 6. You know.
Yeah.
You lose in game 6 to TY in the round of 4. That's still a good showing. You still got to show a lot of what you can do. Okay, I have to say, overall for this series, I really like TY's build order choices, his strategies that he's going for. I love how he's infrequently going for Reaper. And, like, for instance, he's going to just have a little bit more power here, right, because he skipped Reaper. I like it. Like, what are you going to go scout? You already kind of know what's going on.
So, again, the build, at least thus far, telegraphs that PartinG is going to try to do the same Stalker play. He wants to stay outside and try to punish a Terran on 2 base, take a 3rd. And anywhere that Terran missteps, and by the way, TY did misstep in the last game. There were periods where he was just being too cavalier with his units roaming around the map, and he paid for it.
Very good micro on both sides right there. Yeah, well, I don't think he thought there would be that many Stalkers, right? It's so weird to make that many.
Well, it's funny because he saw them, and then he immediately, in a split second, attacked in and did lose everything.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the more impactful moments in that game because that was a big chunk of units that was lost there. You don't normally, like we saw in Game 5, see a Protoss expanding, taking a 4th, and attacking and kill you. But that's what happens when Terran throws away that many units.
Yeah, totally. All right, so we have a Raven on the way. PartinG has made a wall. He did see the reactor, and he did see the factory building, so he has to kind of prepare for Hellions just in case. TY has been using that a lot, but TY's mixed it up. He's going a tech lab on his factory, so probably Siege Tank's going to be on the way. Of course, the Raven going to help out quite a bit as well, and PartinG just back to his basic build here. The 4-gate, Warp Prism, Observer, Blink Stalker build.
Terrans so far have been unable to deal with this. And this is very unique to PartinG. He's somebody who seems to have come in with this build. He knows the ins and outs, and you really have to know every possible branch. Every decision tree has to be mapped out perfectly to pull this off. And you have to have perfect control. And we're going to see it used again here. There's basically 3 parts to this. Of course, the Stalkers, but also the Warp Prism, and especially the Observer. Can you keep the Observer safe? Because if you have that, the Stalkers can... They'll have vision into the main. They can jump in there, do damage, and then jump out. For the Terran in this situation, I think the tank above everything is the most important. If you get enough tanks and you can protect them, let's say you have 3 or 4 tanks up, they're not going to do this. By the way, PartinG misstepped. This is the depot sees it.
Oh, but TY did not.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
Does not move, so he's going to lose that scouting depot. But that's okay. That's like the most expendable thing here.
The second tank's out. And it's pretty well shielded by the rest of this infantry. Yeah. And he'll blink out as there's too much damage dealt to each of these units.
That was good. I like that. He did not siege too quickly or anything. Looks like already Colossus Tech on the way here.
But here's the problem. It's this seesaw in action. He sees, okay, there's not much over here. I'll attack in here. I'll start to damage this. By the way, TY's supply blocked. He blinks out.
Saves all of them.
Yep.
Very well done.
And the thing is, this really starts to add up.
Almost gets that Liberator. A lot of Stalkers are damaged quite a bit, but that's all right. Like, he's doing some damage, and he's continuing to tech up at home. We do have a supply block on both sides, it looks like.
Okay, it looks like he's gotten up here, too. He could get behind the refiner, even.
Ooh, nice mine hit right there on the Stalkers. But look at this, he's picking off quite a bit.
This is a pretty big commitment by PartinG, though. It seems like he's almost... contained himself inside this base. Now he's actually almost trapped in here.
Yeah, he is a little bit. But who's trapped with who, Tasteless?
Oh, great. This is like Watchmen now. Okay, he blinks out.
Yeah, it seems like TY's defense was good enough there.
Things are calming down now.
Hey, look at that. He's got a double bunker.
Oh, what an unusual move here. He's going to blink through. Now he wants to draw attention over here, kill off some workers, and then drop over here.
Oh my god, PartinG in 2 locations at once, trying to harass as much as he possibly can. He's actually, I mean, he's picking off a good amount of Marines.
He warps in some more, tries to avoid that auto turret, but this is beginning to really fizzle out. He's just not doing enough, and he's actually losing too many stalkers. When you do this, you want to lose as little as possible, but it seems like TY was too good at defending the more central location of his territory, and so PartinG was doing some pretty risky stuff and trying to really run through maybe unprotected areas, and he did do damage there, but then he ended up eating too many shots on the way out.
Yeah, he has some very bruised stalkers at this point.
Now, even still, I don't know that Terran could push out. The threat of the stalkers jumping back inside the main base is too dangerous.
TY's building into a macro game regardless, right?
Yeah.
He's got his third command. He's adding 2 E-bays. He's really getting ready for a prolonged battle here, which, I mean, I've been dying to see this between these two because PartinG has shown us some very strong macro play. It's like more on the aggressive end, but he will make a lot of Nexuses. All right, a lot of gateways on the way. Colossus, Thermal Lance, almost done. PartinG still kind of poking the bear right now. Keeps flying his prism in to check on things.
We really need to see how this little attack is going to do. It's moving across the map. You can see TY is behaving like he's really hungry to push out with a ground force, but the real story is actually that there's already this small amount of units moving across the map here. But I don't think this is going to get much done. It seems like there's already more than enough here for PartinG.
Yeah,
and there's literally no way to drop in there and do any damage. So he loses that.
Yeah, it gets like, loses a Zealot, who cares?
And now PartinG's going to hunt this down. If he can come in here and pick this off, it would be huge. This isn't quite enough stalkers, though.
Quite.
But again, I mean, how does Terran get this all the way back home? It's a huge map. It's pretty obvious where the Terran needs to go from here, just through the top center. I guess PartinG abandons it, says it's better to take a 4th base and try to stay ahead than to rush around the map and try to pick off a small number of units. Not what I expected from him, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I am stoked right now because this is calming down a bit, right?
Yeah, man.
It looks like we are going to get into some real big macro plays here.
We're finally going to have an actual late game with these two. In what has been a series of very short action-packed games. I think we're finally going to have a more dramatic, epic late game.
Yeah. Now, PartinG has gone up to 4 bases. It looks like he wants to get forward here and maybe poke in a bit, but there's a sensor tower. There's really well-placed siege tanks.
He's staying outside of range of that. He's making more Archons. I think he is going to try to attack in. 1-1's going to finish, but I think the more important factor is that there's 2 Colossi in the army.
Yeah.
And there was a decent number of Marines that were made here. I mean, there are Marauders as well, but really, this is a lot of splash. What is this Archon doing, by the way?
Pathing poorly.
Okay.
Gosh, can you break that?
I mean,
look at this. He's
don't
making
think so.
depots in front. I love it. That's going to choke everything up.
He's killed the Observer.
Oh, he's getting ready. He's spreading everything out, but the right-hand side actually attacks him first. Where's the rest of his army?
What is he doing?
What is going on here?
What?
A huge mistake from PartinG.
PartinG, though, attacks in on the other side here. That also fails.
That could not be what he meant to do.
There must have been he might have had it on 2 hotkeys and
he definitely did, but like
it looked like 2 control groups.
That was fair. It was like it felt like either he wanted to pull the army there and then run up the other side, or he wanted to do some sort of flank. Definitely not attacking with one half, have it not work, then attacking with the other half, have it not work.
So a huge
not sure what went wrong.
Mechanical error. Not what we expect to see in the Final 4 of GSL, but this has been a nail-biter of a series here.
He's still going to come in, though.
Why are some of his Archons hitting rocks and then the other ones are...
well, I think he's poking. I think he does want those rocks gone. To have a wider area to run in there. Oh
no,
my God.
I get that, but then why would you attack him with the other half and take damage?
Yeah. Well, maybe trying to poke with the Colossus and not take damage or something like that.
Okay, so
these attacks haven't done what he was looking for.
Now, behind all this, though, and maybe a more important part of the story is that PartinG's on 5 bases. TY is still on 3. He's going to be taking his 4th very quickly here.
Yeah.
And maybe... there's a gap in the defenses. PartinG, throughout all these games that he's won against Terran, leans in pretty hard. You're playing his game.
Yeah. I want to mention, He's been making 2 factory siege tanks. This is like a TY special to add a lot of siege tanks to an army. So that's going to give him a lot of fighting power. There's no question about that. But speed is coming up here for PartinG. He's going to get a Prism into the main base. Oh, he gets picked off. That's huge. That's a huge pick-off.
One gunshot from a Marine took it out before the entire attack in the main could get warped in.
A little bit of Liberator harassment going on. Doesn't get too much done.
You know, PartinG is playing well despite some very questionable decisions here. But again, if he loses this game, he's out. So if he wins this series in a game like this where there's been this many hiccups in his play, that's pretty crazy, man.
You know, I feel like what we need to see here from, a second Robo, but I also want to see more gates from PartinG. This is a style that TY has shown us so many times with mass siege tank, and it feels like this army that TY makes wins the first battle, but then a lot of times Protoss reinforcements can end up taking it out because there's like a lot of siege tanks left over, but not as much bio a lot of the time. We'll see how PartinG tries to deal with this. He is going for blink on DTs as well here, spreading pylons around the map.
And look at this, a 6th base being taken. PartinG is really showing how many expansions more you can take in this matchup. I mean, it's pretty wild. And TY appears to be respecting it. We're in a new phase here of the meta, I think especially in this season where, and I think PartinG's the one who's really showing it, is that you can actually take this much. It's going to be Terran who's actually hiding and defending here. And the question now, I think for TY, in the kind of game that PartinG has created here, is where does TY want to push? Now,
look at how many tanks.
Yeah, he needs to back up.
Yeah. He's adding some disruptors in here as well. I do want to mention the amount of probes is huge. He's got 84 probes right now. And when you have an army like this, you really have to whittle your opponent down if you have this many probes.
Great storm. There doesn't seem to be any weakness on PartinG's side of the map. And he's still just staying outside of range and poking into these really, I guess, weaker areas than we're used to seeing. For instance, hitting the 2 command centers making. That's annoying. That's one of the final pieces you need as Terran. And now, you know, despite all the attacks that haven't succeeded here from PartinG, it does appear that the Protoss is set up for a late game that he wants to play. Now, that being said, there should be a push coming out from Terran, and I think Protoss will probably have to rely on counterattacks to make that work.
We have such a strong army right now from TY. He's got a lot of ghosts in here. He's got a lot of siege tanks in here. And when you look at what PartinG has, he is adding in more splash, which is important, right? More disruptors. He has 5 High Templars. He's kind of running around a lot with what he's got. But when EMPs and siege tanks actually hit this army, it's going to evaporate.
Okay, we saw, similar to earlier in this game, he tried to come in here and do damage. It did not work. Again, PartinG attacks in with this army. What an odd game. I almost feel like TY has been one of the most conservative Terrans in this game that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's not opting to attack out. He's going to continue to build up. He wants to have the perfect harmony attack out. And PartinG, by the way, now has expanded to the very bottom left. We never basically ever see a Protoss take this many bases against a Terran.
It's wild, yeah.
We never see this many gateways. And we are into uncharted territory here in this matchup.
Well, it's funny because this is what the game actually calls for. With what's going on this game, absolutely. By the way, that is so many DTs, but there's a Raven with this army. Blinks in on top, and then he auto-scans.
Yeah, that's funny. He's got the muscle memory right there. So the idea with this Blink Zealot, by the way, which usually would Zealots and DTs would never be able to fight that. You blink in front of their army, they can't run away, and the DTs attack immediately upon blinking in the location. So the damage happens very quickly.
Yeah, and that's a lot of damage. Oh my god, look at this. He just sniped a bunch of DTs. He cloaked his ghosts.
By the way,
it was invisible versus invisible, and he sniped DTs.
Artosis, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 bases for PartinG. And I would not be surprised if he takes a 9th base in the top right.
Absolutely. He needs a Nexus up there immediately.
Oddly, this looks like we're in the wrong version of StarCraft. This looks like a StarCraft 1 PvT.
I know. Yeah, it really does. Mass siege tanks everywhere.
Yeah, Protoss taking the whole map. And I love the usage of the DTs. It's very tactical. Now, we have nukes being used here from Terran against a Protoss, which is not that common.
Yeah, not as much, but you know, when they make these outposts with lots of cannons and batteries and things, nukes are actually a great way to try to deal with that. Very cost efficient. It's not the same as clearing creep tumors.
Oh man, these stalkers have come right in here on top of these tanks.
Sorry,
not stalkers, DTs, excuse me.
That was pretty inefficient. Oh, that's...
Well, the thing is...
those were good storms, though.
He has so many minerals and gas that he can kind of just do this, and it's fine.
Oh, something died there. Yeah,
excellent cast, dude.
Well, I just see a pile of broken machinery, Protoss machinery. Okay. So PartinG's army right now is really funny looking. Look at that army tab.
Can I point out, the weird thing about nuking this over and over is it actually, I think, can cost Terran more in the long run.
Yes.
Than the Protoss.
Once you kill those cannons, like if you are going to nuke the Nexus to death, 4 nukes cost way more than a Nexus.
Yeah.
All right, nukes landing everywhere. Huge group of charge lots coming in. Not actually getting that much done, it seems.
Now, the Disruptor play is very cool. This is how you can punish somebody who's sitting back too much and get value out of it.
Yeah. Oh, I love some of these nukes. He's really finding interesting areas to nuke.
Well, this is so many spots on the map that PartinG has to look for. If this connects, and I think it will, by the way.
That's a good point. Like, it's hard to actually find these at this point. 11 probes going down. Very nice nuke.
I don't know that PartinG's going to be phased by that, though.
No. Well, now he has about the same workers as TY. So that's okay. 71 workers, that's enough. You're fine.
Another attack in over here. We've gotten into one of the weirdest games I've casted.
Yeah, it's a very bizarre game. Now he's attacking with Charge Lot DT. It's like Charge Lot DT Disruptor. Blink DT, by the way.
Well, this is going to hit the same location but do nothing. Oh no, gets 2 more probes.
Yeah.
But
hold your tongue, tasteless.
Sorry, guys. Now, PartinG, assuming he gets to keep the bases he has, maybe not the one that's getting right next to his other base, but he's going to get more minerals consumed on the map. More gas, but doesn't seem like he's getting much value out of it, you know?
No, he's having a lot of attacks that really are not doing very much. And his army quality is not super high. He's kind of roaming about. He doesn't have a bank anymore. He's not maxed out anymore. The nukes have done a surprising amount. But here he comes. He's got a lot of units in here. Nice EMP goes down. Siege tank line going to melt some of these stalkers. But look at that. I mean, he's fighting with mostly charge lots at a planetary.
So we've gone from having 5 insanely short games here, action-packed, to this long, dramatic war of attrition. By the way, Artosis, look at the supplies here. 193 to 110.
It's getting bad.
And it almost seems like PartinG played a very interesting game where he dragged this out and then didn't have any real solution. Like this attack here, right? This is going to kill workers. He's going to lose more in value with these DTs with Blink. Oh, dude.
That would be bad.
Of all his low supply to lose this? Okay.
Okay, they roll right past. But yeah, he made a gigantic... He's lost 44 DTs. Oh my god. But he put so much money into these DT Zealot armies that keep crashing into planetaries and getting wiped out. And now his standing army can't really fight this, right?
Yeah.
He's looking to find areas where he can kind of crush through what TY has. It's just I've never seen anyone try to play with Blink DT, Charge Zealot, and Disruptors. Like, that's the comp. He keeps remaking it.
Okay, the first moment where we might see some real value gain here is, again, not happening. What a funny game. PartinG showed how far you can take it and then just didn't seem to have an answer. And we're seeing these cool little engagements here, but Terran right now is getting so much more value.
Yeah.
The Terran army's actually so much bigger. I think if he attacks with everything, the game will simply end.
Yeah, it seems that way. You need some massive disruptor hits at this point.
And I don't see any kind of tech here from PartinG that allows him to do anything. I mean, Terran basically played proper StarCraft 2, got all the right units, got all the upgrades. We're beginning to see PartinG reassemble an army that might be able to do this, but time is on the Terran side for sure.
Right, one of the nexuses looks like it's going to be going down here. Still a very small army. Nukes helping to clear everything out.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. We're starting to see the map that PartinG dominated be given to the Terran now. So PartinG is going to try to attack in the locations where Terran is not. He's going to try to move through here. But I feel like he can be hit from every single side, and I just don't see this working. I don't see this little force moving through and changing this game. And you can see now the armies of all different angles are coming back in here to close in on this.
Yeah, TY, it's like he's playing, you know, with the whole mini-map as his screen.
Yeah.
It's crazy to watch his army movement that you know is on 2 or 3 different screens just running around everything. Right,
Really shows
he's still holding on. You know, his army supply has actually gotten reasonable. 65 probes is nothing to scoff at. Trying to go after planetaries, though. There's 2 right there. In the meantime, a nuke gonna help to clean up this nexus.
We'll eventually have to do a check on the resources at the remaining bases to figure out where this game is. You know, when you see one player take most of the map, mine resources from it, and then not do much, there's not much left for them to get. I mean, this is why there's a cap on how much you can mine from each base before it runs out and you have to get a new one.
Yeah.
And that may be part of the story here if PartinG loses this.
Well, TY is just keeping up this pressure, right? He continually is nuking, he's keeping that economy down, and he has so many planetaries that PartinG just can't seem to break.
Well, there's another attack in over here. Is this going to be enough to take him on? By the way, TY has now seized control of the top right.
Yeah, that is a problem as well, isn't it?
There's a very clear no man's land being drawn here diagonally across the map. But again, it just seems like wherever TY goes, he wins. The fights TY takes work out for him.
Oh, he got that nuke.
The sound effect of it landing was there too, which is what's funny.
Okay, PartinG starting to go towards the top right. There's not much up there other than planetaries, I believe. Look how many command centers are being made, though.
Oh my God, that's huge.
All right, these are some good hits.
Okay, now this, if you could take out that many more tanks here. By the way,
honestly, losing those disruptors.
Well, this is 2 planetaries here. This is not.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Terran's attacking down here at the bottom. And I think we're going to see the Protoss slowly dry up here.
Yeah, he really is not mining that much at this point.
We're now seeing the map go into the opposite color favor. It was actually red that was taking up about 70% of the map. Now it's blue. As TY basically was patient. He stayed back. He fought. He grew. He picked his battles wisely. And I think this is a response to PartinG winning the last 2 games with very aggressive play. TY said, I'm going to invest in the long run. I'm going to be very patient. I'm going to let you attack into me. I'm going to trade effectively. I'm going to get value out of every engagement. And in the long run, I'll be able to push back out. I'll claim the territories that were once yours.
And honestly, it seems like what PartinG's preparation was for is for a more standard Terran that would be a little bit more aggressive this game. He was looking for fights with these types of compositions, but TY has mostly been sitting behind planetaries, just absorbing Zealot DT.
Yeah, I think you're completely right. I think he was waiting, hoping for the Terran to fight back. And Terran never did. Terran stayed very patient. And there just wasn't much that he could do. And now we're seeing a much more sophisticated Terran army come out here. Even though PartinG some of these fights pretty well. Watch, every time, there it is, a perfect example. Every time Protoss runs away, about 1/4 of the army is blown away.
Yeah.
And look at the minerals and gas at the bottom of the screen here, guys. There's almost nothing going up. Whereas
he's at the end of his rope here.
Yeah, we're watching the Terran garbage compact the Protoss.
Look at the amount of siege tanks coming in as well. A very well-played series here from TY. Very patient game.
Even with good hits like that, too much. Right now, TY is a force that cannot be stopped. He'll continue to move across the map and move on to the finals of the GSL Code S in a really incredible fashion. great strategic planning in the early game, and patience and macro-oriented play in the late game.
All right, this is about the last stand here from PartinG. Has a few disruptors shooting at those balls. You can see his head kind of going to the side, realizing that there is not going to be any way to take this game back, to take this series back. It was a good fight from PartinG, but TY too strong tonight.
And at this point in time, PartinG digesting the loss. GG! TY will move on to the finals of Season 1 2020 GSL Codex.
That's right, TY in his third finals, still looking for that first championship. Will this be the time? It's going to be in one of his best matchups, one of his best 3 matchups, Tasteless, Terran versus Terran.
And I'll tell you something, this was a really kind of a crazy moment just in any esport, because this is also our caster.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he'll be playing this time around. I guess Curious gets an extra day of work.
Oh.
We're going to go to an interview now. I feel for PartinG. He played an amazing series, and I look forward to him next season. But for now, TY has done it. He will go on and face off against one of the 2 Terrans, whoever wins, on the other side of the Final Four. And we're going to get this interview translated by Andy. Gary will be conducting the interview. I think we're going to be going to that in a second, but wow, what an incredible series. And that interview is ready now. Go ahead, Andy.
Wow, what a nail-biting series that was. And now TY acquires the victory, and he moves on to the finals. Congratulations. Thank you. First of all, now it's your 3rd GSL finals. Congratulations. And you've been a player and a caster, and now you accomplish the achievement. How do you feel? Well, as a player caster, this is my first finals, so this means a lot to me. I think I'm in a good momentum right now. So in the finals, I think I could show a good performance. And today, in the beginning of the series, even before PartinG was able to do any offensive plays, you destroyed him in the beginning. And you were ahead in 3-0. But then, things started getting more neck and neck. So, any disappointments, TY? Well, I mean, I was far ahead with a score of 3-0. I wanted to end quick. But when the score turned into 3-2, I was a little bit scared. I was a little bit worried. And the 6th game, in Game 6, PartinG made a great mistake, and then I was able to secure the win. Yes, definitely there was PartinG's mistake. And PartinG did make phenomenal preparation as well, but you did too, TY. And to be honest, PartinG is renowned for his Blink Stalker's control. So I felt like I needed to really stop him from going for the Blink Stalkers. And his micro is so good. So it was really hard for me to fend off his Blink Stalkers. Yes, now you move on to the finals. You defeat Dark, you defeat PartinG. And your opponent has to be a TBT. Are you confident in the matchup? Well, compared to other matchups, TBT is, I feel quite confident about it. But all the Terran players remaining are so formidable, so I can't be certain that I'll win. But as a competitor, I want to try my best. So it is a great opportunity to see which Terran is the best in 2020. So there's Cure and Innovation waiting for you in this round of 4. So who do you want to play against? Well, personally, I feel like Cure would be a better opponent for me. He is playing really good, but so far the head-to-head record is favored towards me. So in that aspect, it is quite, scary. I mean, this opportunity is a rare one, and you might be able to become the champion this season. Anything you want to say before you go? But this season, I think I'm really fortunate. The goddess of fortune is smiling upon me. I'm moving on to the finals with Curious, our guest caster. So I'm really happy. So I think I want to end this year as a really good one. Once again, congratulations, TY. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Wow, TY did it. I'm glad we had some wins there for PartinG. I was worried that was going to be a 4-0.
Yeah, yeah. Big congratulations to TY. Maybe he can win it this time. Second most GSL Finals appearances in Legacy of the Void. I actually was not aware of that.
Yeah, that's an interesting fact. I did not know that either. It shows you how much Marto overshadows.
Yeah, yeah.
There.
Well, TY, can he do it? I think he's actually favored going into the finals.
I agree. He played very well. I think this is also a story of PartinG maybe not right now being mentally in the right place to go on to the finals. He seemed to make a lot of mistakes that cost him the game, whether it was forgetting Warp Gate in Game 3 or just not moving his army very well in this final match here.
Yeah, and what they were talking about there, remember that part where I'm like, whoa, something happened here, stuff died? Because we saw like 2 broken Colossus legs or whatever. JYP went through the replay while that interview was going on and showed us. He just pathed through the tanks and lost his entire army in the mid-game.
We will be back on Saturday at 1 p.m. KST for the other half of the semifinals. That will be Cure versus Innovation. So no matter what, we'll have a Terran versus Terran finals. I think Innovation probably slightly favored here, but this has just been a season of upsets, so you never know.
Yeah, Cure's been playing so well that he could be able to take it as well. He's had some great TVT series lately. Notably, I think it was at Katowice against TY. He had some great games. So we'll see who can take that down and meet TY in the finals.
Thank you for joining us today, guys. We're sorry it could not have been a longer evening, but sometimes that happens. All the more reason to be excited for the finals, which is just around the corner.
Yeah, coming right up there on June 6th. This was fun. It was a good series after all. I was really scared after that 3-0 and then losing 12 probes in Game 4.
Yeah, that was a little bit scary. I thought we were going to, before we were even really warmed up, I thought the show might end. Look, I look forward to seeing more of PartinG's games in the future. He's, of course, a world champion from the early days of StarCraft 2, but right now here in Legacy of the Void in 2020, the competition's very fierce, and I think we're probably going to see an even stronger PartinG in the future.
Yeah, he's looking great, and he can play the big macro games. He can play the cheesy rush games. He's really becoming a complete Protoss, and that's really fantastic to see.
Very cool. One reminder here for our finals, you can see at the bottom of the screen here, submit a cheerful, in other words, just a sign like you normally see at esports in the old days when people could have public gatherings. Send that to the email below, and if we like it, we're going to put it on screen during the finals to at least get kind of close to a live event.
Yeah, do that to help us out. Make the finals a little bit better by having your artwork.
Get some character in our finals, and once things come back to normal, of course, come visit our studio and watch a match live.
Forward to that day
when people can finally gather again.
Yeah, cannot wait. Well, lots of fun. Make sure you tune in on Saturday. Once again, Cure versus Innovation.
Going to kick ass. I think Innovation probably takes it, but Cure is steadily improving. I think PartinG, too, again, he just needs to work on his mentality, his prep. I think the nerves really got to him. He's a guy who hypes himself up a lot. I think a lot of people didn't expect him to get this far, and suddenly all eyes were on him here in the semifinals, and definitely, you know, the first couple losses seem to have shaken him. And once you're down 0-3 in a best of 7, it's just so hard to ever dig yourself out of that hole.
Yeah.
Winning 4 games in a row after somebody's beaten you that many times, and there's already that much data about how you're playing, it's very difficult.
So true. So true.
But with all that, I think a lot of the loss was also PartinG's fault, just not keeping
I'm sure
up
he's
with
a
what he
bit
needs to do.
disappointed in the series overall, but at least he did put up a fight at the end of the day.
Yeah,
that last game, I feel like he was in a pretty reasonable position, and then things went wrong, unfortunately. Some bad trades. TY was just so patient.
Yeah.
Winning a game that I think a lot of people would have lost.
Well, guys, that's all the time we have. We'll see you Saturday, 1 p.m. KST. We love you. Stay safe, wash your hands, and have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are.